A false path in life is generally something we are attracted to for the wrong reasons money, fame, attention, and so on. If it is attention we need, we often experience a kind of emptiness inside that we are hoping to fill with the false love of public approval. Because the field we choose does not correspond with our deepest inclinations, we rarely find the fulfillment that we crave. Our work suffers for this, and the attention we may have gotten in the beginning starts to fade, a painful process. If it is money and comfort that dominates our decision, we are most often acting out of anxiety and the need to please our parents. They may steer us towards something lucrative out of care and concern, but lurking underneath this can be something else, perhaps a bit of envy that we have more freedom than they had when they were young. Your strategy must be twofold. First, to realize as early as possible that you have chosen your career for the wrong reasons before your confidence takes a hit. And second, to actively rebel against those forces that have pushed you away from your true path. Scoff at the need for attention and approval. They will lead you astray. Feel some anger and resentment at the parental forces that want you to foist upon your alien vocation. It is a healthy part of your development to follow a path independent of your parents and to establish your own identity. Let your sense of rebellion fill you with energy and purpose. It is the father figure, the Leopold Mozart, that is blocking your path. You must slay him and clear the way. Let go of the past, the adaptation strategy. From the time he was born in 1960, Freddie Roach was groomed to be a boxing champion. His father had been a professional fighter himself, and his mother a boxing judge. Freddie's older brother began learning the sport at an early age, and when Freddie was 6, he was promptly taken to the local gym in South Boston to begin a rigorous apprenticeship in the sport. He trained with the coach several hours a day, 6 days a week. By the age of 15, he felt like he was burned out. He made more and more excuses to avoid going to the gym. One day, his mother sensed this and said to him, "Why do you fight anyway? You will just get hit all the time. You can't fight." He was used to this constant criticism from his father and brothers, but to hear such a frank assessment from his mother had a bracing effect. Clearly, she saw his older brother as one of destined for greatness. Now, Freddie determined that he would somehow prove her wrong. He returned to his training regimen with a vengeance. He discovered within himself a passion for practice and discipline. He enjoyed the sensation of getting better, the trophies that began to pile up, and more than anything, the fact that he could now actually beat his brother. His love for sport was rekindled. As Freddie now showed the most promise of the brothers, his father took him to Las Vegas to help further his career. There, at the age of 18, he met the legendary coach Eddie Fudge and began to train under him. It looked all very promising. He was chosen for the United States boxing team and began to climb up the ranks. Before long, however, he hit another wall. He would learn the most effective maneuvers from Fudge and practice them to perfection, but in an actual bout, it was another story. As soon as he got hit in the ring, he would revert to fighting instinctually. His emotions would get the better of him. His fights would turn into brawls over many rounds, and he would often lose. After a few years, Fudge told Roach it was time to retire, but boxing had been his whole life. Retire and do what? He continued to fight and to lose until finally he could see the writing on the wall and retired. He took a job in telemarketing and began to drink heavily. Now he hated the sport. He had given it so much and had nothing to show for his efforts. Almost in spite of himself, one day he returned to Fudge's gym to watch his friend Virgil Hill spar with a boxer about to fight for a title. Both fighters trained under Fudge, but there was nobody in Hill's corner helping him, so Freddie bought him water and gave him advice. He showed up the following day to help Hill again and soon became a regular at Fudge's gym. He was not being paid, so he kept his telemarketing job, but something in him smelled opportunity and he was desperate. He showed up on time and stayed later than anyone else. Knowing Fudge's technique so well, he could teach them to all the fighters. His responsibilities began to grow. In the back of his mind, he could not shake his resentment of boxing, and he questioned how long could he keep this up. It was a dog eat dog career, and trainers rarely lasted very long in the business. Would this turn into yet another routine in which he would endlessly repeat the same exercises he had learned from Fudge? A part of him yearned to return to fighting. At least fighting was not so predictable. One day, Virgil Hill showed him a technique he had picked up from some Cuban fighters. Instead of working with a punching bag, they mostly trained with the coach who wore large padded mitts. Standing in the ring, the fighters half sparred with the coach and practiced their punches. Roach tried it with Hill and his eyes lit up. It brought him back into the ring, but there was something else boxing. He felt he had become stale, as had its training methods. In his mind, he saw a way to adapt the mitt work for more than just punching practice. It could be a way for a trainer to devise an entire strategy in the ring and demonstrate it to his fighter in real time. It could revolutionize and revitalize the sport itself. Roach began to develop this with the stable of fighters that had now trained. He instructed them in maneuvers that were much more fluid and strategic. Soon he left Fudge to work on his own. He quickly established a reputation for preparing his boxers better than anyone else, and within a few years he rose to become the most successful trainer of his generation. In dealing with your career and its inevitable changes, you must think in the following way. You are not tied to a particular position. Your loyalty is not to a career or company. You are committed to your life's task, to giving it full expression. It is up to you to find it and guide it correctly. It is not up to others to protect or help you. You are on your own. Change is inevitable, particularly in such a revolutionary moment as ours. Since you are on your own, it is up to you to foresee the changes going on right now in your profession. You must adapt your life's task to these circumstances. You do not hold on the past ways of doing things because they will ensure you will fall behind and suffer for it. You are flexible and always looking to adapt. If change is forced upon you, as it was for Freddie Roach, you must resist the temptation to overreact or feel sorry for yourself. Roach instinctively found his way back to the ring because he understood what he loved was not boxing per se but competitive sports and strategizing. Thinking in this way, he could adapt his inclinations to a new direction within boxing. Like Roach, you don't want to abandon the skills and experience you have gained, but to find a new way to apply them. Your eye is on the future, not the past. Often, such creative readjustments lead to a superior path for us. We are shaken out of our complacency and forced to reassess where we are headed. Remember, your life's task is a living, breathing organism. The moment you rigidly follow a plan set in your youth, you lock yourself into a position and the times will ruthlessly pass by you by.